Welcome to this lecture in Consumer Behavior and Marketing Communication. The topic that we are going to discuss today is cultural influence on consumer behavior. Taking this topic further, this is me, Ashish Avasthi, Assistant Professor, Department of MBA, IMS Engineering College, Ghaziabad. Let me take this topic further by changing the slide. First of all, we need to answer the question as to what culture is. So, a culture can be defined as the sum total of the way in which people of a certain place live. Now, I would like to highlight this line. Culture is a distinct way of life of a group of people. So, culture is a distinct way in which a group of people of an area or a locality or a country or a state live. Culture includes many components. So, whatever you are seeing below this line are various components of culture, various things that culture includes. Culture includes knowledge, culture includes beliefs and practices. So, there are certain practices, there are certain beliefs, there are certain concepts which a group of people carry, which is a part of their culture. Culture includes the arts, literature, culture includes the laws, culture includes morals and customs of a population. So, these are the things that culture constitutes of. So, in a nutshell, we can say that the culture of a population of a certain place is actually the way of their living, which includes food, which includes arts, which includes their practices, which includes their beliefs, which includes their concepts, and which includes other many things. Moving ahead, there are certain characteristics of culture. Now, before studying the characteristics of culture, let us talk about what the culture is made of. Now, a culture is made of three interdependent systems: the ideological system, then there is a technological system, and finally, there is an organizational system. We will talk about the ideological system first. The ideological system that we are talking about is actually the system of beliefs, concepts and ideas which are there in the minds of the people belonging to a particular population. After this ideological, there is a technological system. The technological system consists of the industry and production. So, this technological system basically consists of the production, the things which are being manufactured, the state of technology at any given point of time, the state of communication prevailing at any given point of time, and so on. So, this is the technological system. And last but not the least, there is an organizational system where everything is put in order as a society. So, everything is organized. There is a organization of people in the form of families, and there are organizations of businesses, and businesses and families interact with each other, and goods and services are produced, and these are sold, and so on. And there are so many other things which are practiced in between. So, these are three interdependent systems that constitute the culture of a group of people at a particular place at a particular time. There are certain characteristics of culture, as you can see here. Culture is learned. So, culture, as we know that it is the sum total of the way of life of a particular group of people, it is actually learned. In our families, to take an example, we learn various types of foods, we learn about various types of practices, we learn about various types of norms. So, culture is learned in a family. In society, we transfer values and we transfer ideas to each and everybody we meet. Likewise, a culture is learned. Next characteristic is culture is socially shared. By social sharing, I mean whatever values, whatever ideas, whatever beliefs I have, the literature that I have, my food that I eat, I will share it with the people whom I meet, and in this way I will also transfer a bit of culture. So, culture is not only learned, but it is also shared between the people of a society. Third characteristic is culture is similar, yet it is different. Every country, every group of people are distinct from each other, and every group of people have their own set of beliefs, have their own set of food that they eat, their clothing, their arts, their cinema, their music, their books. So, there is a culture which is prevailing in each and every set of people, but then the culture of a certain group of people will differ from the culture of another group of people. So, culture is similar yet different. To elaborate this point further, I would like to take you to the first slide. These were the things that culture comprised of. So, whether you talk about a group of people in India, or you talk about a group of people in the US, or you talk about the group of people in any other country, each such group will have these things in their culture. There would be beliefs and practices, there would be arts, there would be morals and customs, there would be laws, etc., etc. But even then, those things belonging to one group of people will differ from another group of people. So, therefore, culture is similar, but it is different. The next characteristic says that culture is persistent and it is gratifying. The word gratifying means satisfying. So, culture is persistent. By persistent, we mean that culture is prevailing, it is here to stay. Culture stays on. Culture does not vanishes or disappears. Culture stays on and it gives satisfaction to people, mental satisfaction to people. So, it is persistent as well as gratifying. Last but not least, culture forms a boundary for an individual to think and act. Culture, as we already discussed, comprised of morals, values and customs. So, these morals and customs actually form a boundary, and a person is expected to be inside the boundary. A person is not expected to cross the boundary. So, culture forms an invisible boundary in which the person of that particular group has to conduct himself and his actions. So, a culture also holds the responsibility of forming a boundary, and people have to follow that. Moving to the next slide. Now, here we will cover the components of culture. Now, there are two basic components of culture. One is the mental component, or which we call the internal mental culture, and there is an external material culture. So, there is an internal mental culture. This mental culture will actually comprise of the ideas, the opinions, the beliefs, the concepts which you have imbibed. These ideas we might have taken from our family, these opinions and ideas we might have taken from the society, we might have taken these ideas from some books. So, whatever is there inside our minds, the concepts, the beliefs, the knowledge, the ideas, all these constitute the internal mental culture, while there is an external material culture. Now, the external material culture is the part of the culture which we can say that it is the tangible part of our culture which we can see and feel. So, internal material culture consists of the music, theatre, clothing, housing, books, movies, etc., etc. So, we eat the food. So, food is a part of the external material culture. We read books. Books are a part of the external material culture. We have music, we have the cinema, we have clothing, we have sports. So, all these things which can be seen, which can be felt, which are tangible, which we practice, are the part of the external material culture, while our beliefs, our concepts, our knowledge are a part of internal mental culture. We can further divide internal mental culture into two parts, which is the cognitive component and the normative component. Now, the cognitive component is more concerned with perception, or we can say that we perceive these components. The cognitive components consists of the ideas, knowledge. We have opinions on God, we have opinions on supernatural power, etc., etc. So, these are the perceptions that we have in our mind, about God, about power, about anything like that. While there are normative components, the word normative comes from norms. Norms are standards. So the normative components comprise of standards in relation to values, conduct that regulate the behavior of the people. So normative component will consist of the values, it will consist of the way in which the people should behave, it will actually comprise of the norms or the standards which are expected from the people belonging to a particular culture. To sum up, culture can be divided into two components. One is the internal mental culture, other is the external material culture. The mental culture can then be subdivided into two more components, first of which is cognitive and the second of which is normative or prescribing, which is full of norms and standards. Moving ahead, culture impacts the consumer behavior. So we have been discussing about the culture up till now. We have discussed about what all culture comprises of. We have discussed about the characteristics of culture. We have discussed about the components of culture. So we have studied what culture is. The question what culture is now clear to us. Now we will see in the slides to come, and this slide also we will see that how the culture will influence consumer behavior. So we can say that culture is not static, it is dynamic, it is changing, but the pace of the change is very slow. So we can say that culture keeps on changing slowly, and there are so many factors which are responsible for this change in culture, which keeps on changing slowly. Among the so many factors which are responsible for cultural changes, one of the most profound factors is technology. So cultural changes happen due to change in technology. I'll give you a very small example here. In our culture, we follow a certain norm. When we greet people, we greet people with folded hands like this. But then because of the change in technology, we came in touch with the people from the Western culture, and because we came in touch with the people from the Western culture, we adopted certain practices, we adopted certain ways, certain habits of theirs, and today when we meet people, we say hello, good morning, hi. So in this way, our culture has taken a gradual shift, and that gradual shift has come because we have come in contact with people from other cultures, and we have come in contact with the people of other cultures because the technology has advanced, because today we can connect with people from different cultures using internet and web technologies. So therefore I can say, and I can conclude, that one of the profound factors which are responsible for cultural shifts, all cultural change, is the change in technology. Now marketers have to take this into account, and they must understand the culture of a particular place where products and services are to be sold. Now as we know that marketers have to anyhow offer their products and services, and they have to sell their products or services for profitable existence. But at the same time, when they are offering their products and services to a particular group of people, they cannot ignore their culture. So they have to keep in mind the culture of the people to whom they are offering their products and services. This we are going to observe closely in the slides to come. Major companies have adopted themselves to the international culture and are accepted globally. We can take the example of Apple. There is an example here. Coca-Cola had to withdraw its 2 liters bottle from Spain as it did not fit into the refrigerator. Now this is something which is worth taking note of. People in Spain were using smaller refrigerators. Those refrigerators were not having enough space to keep a 2-liter Coca-Cola bottle. Coca-Cola ignored this, and they made a bottle which was 2-liter in size, and then they have to withdraw this bottle from Spain. Why? Because the bottle did not fit into the refrigerator. So that is why, and refrigerators, as I can say, that this is a part of external material culture. A machine, a design of a machine. So a design of a machine will suit the requirements of the people, but Coca-Cola ignored this, and the result was that they had to withdraw their 2-liter bottles. So that is why, to sum up, we can say that marketers while they offer their products and services to a particular group of people, they must study that culture thoroughly, and only after studying the culture thoroughly must they offer their products to the group of people following that particular culture. Moving ahead, now this is a very important concept here we are going to discuss, which is the concept of subculture. Now, like we have a culture is extremely wide. We have an Indian culture, we have a Hindu culture, and we have other such cultures. So, culture in itself is extremely broad, it is extremely wide, its dimensions are extremely broad. Subculture is the concept of culture within culture, and this concept of subculture is actually very helpful for the marketers, because it helps them to promote and position their products and services easily. Going further into this concept of subculture, I will read out the definition. Within a culture, there exist more homogeneous groups called subcultures. So, a culture can consist of various groups which might be distinct from each other with respect to the beliefs and practices, with respect to the arts, with respect to their literature, with respect to their customs. But then what we can do is we can pick up groups within the culture, and these groups will comprise of people who will show a lot of uniformity in terms of culture. So, there can be homogeneous groups within a particular culture. These homogeneous groups will be called the subculture of that culture. For example, if we talk about Hindus in India, the Hindus in India can be further classified into the Hindus of South and the Hindus of North. So, Hindus of South as well as the Hindus of North, they belong to the Hindu culture, but the Hindus of South are distinct from the Hindus of North in terms of the beliefs, in terms of practices, in terms of food, in terms of clothing, in terms of literature, in terms of language, in terms of music, in terms of so many things. While the Hindus of South show some kind of a uniformity in terms of culture, the Hindus of North are different from Hindus of South, but Hindus of North also show a lot of similarity in terms of culture in their own categorization. So, subculture necessarily comes out of culture, and subculture is a part of the culture, and there can be various subcultures in a particular culture, and these subcultures comprise of more or less homogeneous groups. We will take more examples for subcultures. There can be a subculture, the Sikh, there can be a subculture such as Parsis. These are also different subcultures in India, and as a whole we can say that they belong to the Indian culture. So, these subdivisions within a culture are called subcultures, and these subcultures make the work of the marketers extremely easy, because now they identify these subcultures as the group of people to whom they have to position there and promote their products and services to. And because there is a uniformity within a subculture, it becomes easy for a marketer to position his product or service to a particular subculture. From here we move to a very important slide which covers various non-verbal communications in a culture. Now, the non-verbal communications that we are covering here, let me read out these first. We are covering time, we are covering space, we are covering etiquette, we are covering friendship, we are covering agreements, we are covering symbols. So, these are various non-verbal, I should say, factors, or we should say these are non-verbal communications which are covered in a culture. Each culture assigns a meaning to the non-verbal signs utilized by it in communications. So, I would like to once again read out these signs, or I would like to read out once again these non-verbal communication: time, space, etiquette, friendship, agreement and symbols. Now, we are going to discuss each one of this in detail, and we will see how a particular culture has got its own set of non-verbal communication which differs from various other cultures. Time. With respect to time, cultures can be divided into two parts: monochronic culture and polychronic culture. Now, monochronic cultures are those cultures in which the people are not multitasking. Monochronic cultures believe in performing one task at a time, while in polychronic cultures we see that people perform multiple tasks at a time. So, we can say that monochronic culture is not multitasking, while polychronic culture is multitasking. So, in terms of times, the culture can be monochronic and polychronic. Space. With respect to space, there are certain cultures in which space is respected. People stand far apart, people respect space, and people like giving physical space to each other while talking, while there are certain cultures like the Arabic culture in which people stands close by. So, there are certain cultures which give importance to space, while there are certain other cultures that do not give so much importance to space, and there the people stands close by and foster friendship. Coming to the next, that is friendship. In American culture as well as in Indian culture, lasting relationships are given very much importance, while there are certain cultures in which lasting relationships are not given so much of importance. Likewise, materialistic things. Now, if we talk about gifts or various objects, different objects have different meanings. In certain cultures, for example, gifts are considered very important, while in certain other cultures, gifts or giving presents to each other is not considered as important. With respect to colors and numbers, cultures are very particular. With respect to colors, I can take the example of India. In India, especially in the Hinduism or Hindu culture, red color is considered very auspicious, and in marriages etc., people wear dresses of red color which are considered very auspicious and which are considered very good. In Hindu marriages, people do not wear white color dress because it is the color of mourning, it is the color of sadness. So, therefore, colors are given different meanings in different cultures. For example, white is the symbol of mourning or death in Far East like in India, but it is the color of happiness, purity and peace in United States. So, in India and United States, white has a different meaning. Likewise, red has a different meaning. In India, it is a sign of masculinity in UK and France. So, red again has a different meaning in India, UK and France. With respect to numbers, now this is something very common. Number 13 is considered unlucky. In UK also, number 13 is considered very unlucky, and the hotels do not have a floor such as the 13th floor. Same is in India. In India also, we do not consider number 13 as lucky, while in India we consider number 7 as lucky, which is also considered lucky in US, Morocco and various other countries. So, we see that time, space, friendship, numbers, symbols, all these are given different meanings in different cultures. So, it is important for a marketer to understand the meaning of all these symbols in a particular culture before the marketer offers the products or services to the people of that culture. Marketing implications of the culture. So, this is like one of the conclusion of our lecture today. Like I said, the marketers have to be very careful about the cultures to which they are offering their products or services. Now, can you imagine a marketer supplying a white colored dress to an Indian wedding? I mean, people will get disappointed and people will straight away call the marketer and they will lodge their complaint that you have delivered a wrong dress. White is not the color which is used in Indian weddings. So, please take this color back and deliver us a red colored dress. Cultural values are not fixed, but they are dynamic and they keep changing slowly over time, and this has marketing implications. For example, we can say that as the economic prosperity in India is increasing, as people are earning more, people are spending more time at home. Now, we are taking an example of how the cultural shift has also led to a demand of new types of products and services, and marketers have to cater to the cultural shifts that occur in the society. Now, because of the increase in income, because of the overall economic well-being, people are spending more time at home with their children, with their spouses, with their elders. Now, because people are spending more time at home, they are demanding new things, and this has led to the purchase of exercising machines, construction of swimming pools, etc. So, because people are spending more time at home, they are demanding construction of swimming pools at home, they are demanding exercising machines. There are a lot of people in India who have set up gymnasiums in their homes. So, what I mean to say is that whenever a cultural shift occurs, with the occurrence of a cultural shift and with the occurrence of changes in the culture, people, the habit of the people and the practices of the people also change. With the change in technology, the habits and practices of the people also change. These changes have to be taken into account by the marketers and by the manufacturers of the products and services, and then they have to deliver their products and services according to the changes that have taken place in the society. We can take more examples. Consumers today want to live more natural and healthier lives. Now, consumers of today are extremely aware because of internet and because of technology. They have become very much aware about living a healthy life. They have come in touch with people from the West, they have come in touch with the internet, they have read articles, they have read books on healthier lifestyle, and the people of today want to pursue a healthier lifestyle, and because they want to pursue a healthier lifestyle, they are gradually adopting this healthier lifestyle as a culture. So, yoga, which has gained a lot of prominence in recent times, people are practicing yoga, and increasingly more and more people are practicing yoga. Even the children in the school are being taught yoga, and therefore, I can say that yoga is now becoming a part of the culture, although it was, but now it is gaining prominence among the urban youth also. So, because yoga is gaining prominence among urban youth, so urban youth is demanding yoga mats, they are demanding various equipments which are related to yoga. Since they are more aware of this lifestyle, the healthy lifestyle, they are demanding such products. For example, they are demanding a lot of organic foods. Now, as we know that organic foods are healthier in comparison to the various foods which are grown with the help of fertilizers. So, people are demanding organic foods, people are demanding equipments of gym, people are demanding yoga mats, because a shift is taking place, because people are adopting new lifestyle, because people are adopting newer habits, and these lifestyle and these habits are changing because of a shift in culture. Giving recognition to women in the society. Now, this is also a cultural shift which is taking place. With the passage of time, we are giving recognition to the women in the society. There are articles which are being written on the glass ceiling which is being broken by the women, and because the females are being given a lot of prominence in the society, this has led to a lot of shift in which the marketers are promoting their products and services today. So, today while promoting their products and services, and today while positioning their products and services, they keep in mind that women are being given prominence. So, they include women models, and they include female who can endorse their products. So, likewise things are happening. So, once again I would like to sum up what we have discussed so far. We started with what culture is, we started with the various components of culture, then we came to the various characteristics of culture, and then we started discussing about the components of culture as in the mental culture and the external material culture. After that, we shifted to how the culture can influence the behavior of the consumer and purchase decisions, how it can influence the purchase decisions. From there, we came to the various non-verbal communications which are included in a particular culture, and then we discussed a great deal of the non-verbal communication and how marketers should take note of it. Then we finally arrived at the conclusion that culture has a marketing implication, and when there is a shift in a culture, the marketers have to take note of the shift and they have to plan their marketing strategies accordingly, because they cannot ignore the culture to which they are positioning and offering their products and services. So, with this I complete this lecture on the cultural influence on consumer behavior. For any questions and any suggestions, I would like to share my email ID. My email ID is ashish.awasthi@ashish.awasthi imsec.ac.in. So, your questions as well as suggestions are welcome, and I would, to the best of my ability, would like to answer them. With this, I bring the slide to the end of my lecture. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.